How's it going, guys and girls? Welcome to another N7 review. This one is on the new InFamous Second Son, which is the second original IP on the PS4, so let's get down to it. So, InFamous Second Son is the third game in the InFamous series, and it revolves around the main character of Delson Rowe. In the beginning of the game, he becomes what's known as a conduit, and these are basically seen as terrorists. And during the game, you get different powers, and your main goal in this game is to take down the evil big bad boss, Augustine. The game is only set in one location predominantly, which is the city of Seattle, and the recreation of Seattle is quite amazing. I've never been there, so I don't know how accurate this recreation is. But there are some key tourist points, like the Space Needle, for example. But the city is huge, and it does look quite beautiful. One of the first things that really does stand out is just how visually impressive this game is. It looks beautiful. The graphics are outstanding. The lighting effects are great. And also the weather effects are also very effective. You have storms, sunsets, sunrises, and it really does bring to life the city that you're in and change the atmosphere of it as you play the game. So the basic characters. So I really liked the character of Delson Rowe. I thought he was a lovable rogue.
And of course, the only downside being that nope, can't think of anything. This is pretty freaking awesome.
I loved his voice acting. Troy Baker brings it again. This guy is having an amazing year, definitely. He's been in so many big name AAA title games. And the reason is very simple, because he is just very, very talented. And Troy Baker brings it again to the character of Delson. He is funny, he is witty, and really it's Troy Baker's voice acting and also the graphics that really bring to this. The facial animation of Delson Rowe is fantastic. There are a couple of moments in the game where that facial animation does come across as a little awkward, especially when he interacts with the first conduit, well, the second conduit that he gets the powers from, and there's a little bit of a love thing going on there.
Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch alone.
But sometimes it comes across as a little bit awkward and so it's a little bit funny. But generally the voice and the facial animations are great, fantastic, and they really just add to it. I like Delson Rowe, he's a great character. The overall story, I wasn't overly impressed with the story of InFamous Second Son. It had a lot of potential, especially in the character of Augustine and in this whole moral grey area of, you know, do you use your power for good or for evil? And I really don't feel that that was explored in as much detail as it could have been. There is a twist in the story towards the end, but I really feel that that should have happened earlier and that our character should have had a little bit more time to come to grips with that. So I wasn't overly impressed with the story nor with the characters. I would have liked a little bit more information or background on Delson, on his brother, on the two conduits that, the three conduits that you gain the powers from, and on the main villain. And there just wasn't enough character development for me, which is a big thing that I do look for in games. So the story's not amazing, but what is great about this game is the gameplay. The gameplay is where it's at in InFamous Second Son. The gameplay is a lot of fun. It's a blast to play as Delson Rowe. During the game, you get 3 main powers. So you have, no, 4 actually, towards the end. The first power you have, of course, is smoke power, and that's great. You get to go through vents and you just feel destructive and explosive. Second power is neon. That was my favorite power. I loved neon powers. Oh my god, so much fun. Especially there's one point where you can go down into slow-mo time, and it's just incredibly fun. Third power, of course, was kind of an electric power, and that was great. Sprout wings, fly around the city. And the last power was kind of a rock power. All these powers are fantastic. They all feel very, very different and very, very unique. You can switch to them by draining the kind of neon or the powers from the world. I would have liked to have been able to switch between these powers a little bit more easily, a little bit more fluidly, and I really think that the directional pad could have been used for this a lot more effectively. They didn't use the directional pad at all, and it really could have been used for that. But all 4 powers are fun, and they are a blast to play with, and they do change up the gameplay quite nicely. And in that respect, it's a lot of fun. The boss fights themselves, there are a couple of boss fights in this. There was only one boss fight, really, where the main one against Eugene, which was a lot of fun. And I really, really enjoyed it. And it was the only one, really, that was challenging. The last boss fight for me was quite disappointing. I would have liked to have seen better boss fights designed. Sometimes they felt a little bit repetitive, a little bit restrictive, and I would have liked that to have been improved. The side missions as well sometimes are come across as a little bit repetitive, a little bit boring. You always found yourself doing the same things. You know, at first it's cool, you know, spray painting walls and using your touchpad and your PS4 controller to do that. And that was cool to start with all the side missions. But then they became very boring and very, very repetitive. And you just felt like you were, you know, trouncing through it just to get your powers to unlock, and so I would have liked more original, more variety when it came to the side missions. But other than that, the gameplay was fun and it was a blast to play, and you did feel like a badass, overpowered superhero. There's nothing more fun than traveling from one end of Seattle to the other, taking on entire troops of soldiers and enemies. So yeah, that was great, and I did really enjoy the gameplay. So overall, Infamous Second Son is a good game. It's a blast to play. I would say it is a title that you should own on the PS4, but it is not a title that's worth you buying a PS4 for it. I would absolutely pay full price for Infamous Second Son. So Infamous Second Son was a fun game. It's my favorite game so far on the PS4. And I would recommend that you guys buy it. So overall, I would give the new Infamous Second Son a 7.5 out of 10. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you've played this game, let me know what you think of it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit that like button. Please check out any other videos on my channel. And if you enjoy what you see, please go ahead and subscribe. Alright, have a great day guys and girls, and I will catch you later. Bye!